Okay, so today I want to talk about odd time signatures, and our agenda is going to be just to get comfortable with the idea of odd times and confident in understanding what the concept is. This is one of those ideas that I feel like a lot of people kind of pretend to know or sort of halfway understand, and definitely I, for far too long, sort of pretended to know and understand what odd time signatures were, but really it's touted as one of those advanced musical concepts, but I don't really think it needs to be. I think it can be fairly simple once we break it down. And I feel like there are a lot of overcomplicated explanations. There are a lot of poor explanations out there. There are a lot of really good explanations out there as well, but this is one that makes sense to me and hopefully will resonate with some of you as well. So the two pieces of underlying knowledge we need going forward are what measures are and what note values are. So you have to have an understanding of those first. You have to be comfortable knowing, what musical measures are and then what note values are. And by note values, I mean like quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. As long as you're cool with that, we're good going forward. Otherwise, you may want to brush up on what measures are and what note values are. But as long as you're comfortable with that, then simply put, a time signature, an odd time signature or any time signature, describes how long each measure is going to be. So we know that we think of music in repetitive measures, and what the time signature does is it tells us how long each one of those measures is going to be. Now, each time signature, again, be it odd or anything else, any time signature is going to have a top number and a bottom number. Now, it is tempting to think of these as fractions. Don't think of these as fractions. They really have little to do with math or fractions. Just think of it as a top number and a bottom number. And the top and bottom number are going to tell you how many of what kind of note are going to be in each measure. So if I just asked you right now, how many quarter notes go in a measure, and I didn't say anything about time signatures, most people would answer 4. You'd say it's just common knowledge that there are 4 quarter notes in a measure. Now, when we say that, we assume that we're talking about 4/4, which is our common time. But when you give me the answer that there are 4 quarter notes in every measure, you are actually describing the time signature. So if the time signature is 4/4, you are saying that there are 4, that's the top number, quarter notes, that's the bottom number, in each measure. Now, if we were in a different time signature, if we were in 5/4, if 5 was the top number and 4 was the bottom number, then that would be telling us that there are 5 quarter notes in each measure. So the top number can be anything. The top number is just going to tell you how many notes are in each measure. The bottom number is going to tell you what kind of note we are referring to. So that's either going to be 4, 8, or 16. So, for example, like I said, if it was 5/4, then there are 5 quarter notes in each measure. If we have something like 7/8, that's going to tell us that every measure is going to have 7 eighth notes in it. And you could think of any other example too. If I had 15/16, then that means there are going to be 15 16th notes in each measure. Now, the bottom number, we won't really get into this, but the bottom number, I suppose, could be anything. You could have a 5 on the bottom, but what that is going to tell us is that there are going to be X number of 5/5 notes in a measure, which you're not really going to see. The bottom number is going to be 4, 8, or 16. So again, you can just think of it almost like filling in the blanks in a sentence. You can say there are going to be this many of this type of note in each measure. Now, what you actually do with those notes, let's say we're in 7/8, so there are 7 eighth notes in each measure. Now, what you play with those 7 eighth notes or with that amount of time, that could be anything. And I might follow up on this video with another one, and we might talk about how you can actually start playing these odd time signatures. But all you need to know is that, again, the time signature refers to how long each measure is going to be, and the top and bottom number refer to how many of what kind of note are going to be in each measure. Now, I should clarify that it doesn't literally mean that if we're in 7/8 that there are going to be exactly 7 eighth notes in the measure. There could still be 16th notes or quarter notes. It's just 7 eighth notes worth of time. Just again, like how in 4/4, we would never believe that if we're in 4/4, we are always playing 4 quarter notes. We can still break those quarter notes up into eighth notes or 16th notes. It just means that each measure has 4 quarter notes worth of time. So same thing with any other time signature. Hopefully that part's not too confusing. So hopefully this helps clear things up for some of you. Like I said, this is just the explanation that works for me, and maybe it resonates with some of you as well. If there are any lingering questions, or if that doesn't quite make sense, or if there's anything I can clarify, please feel free to leave a comment and I will do my best to clear things up for you. But other than that, be on the lookout for more videos like this. I might do a little series on odd time signatures. Feel free to subscribe or like this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.